Good morning, Henry County High School. Welcome to today's Wildcat News. I'm Principal Sagasser. Students, just always going to remind you that if you are someone that wants to come and grab a meal this week, please go ahead and do that. You can pick it up between the hours of 8 a.m. and 1 p.m. at Eastern Elementary School, Newcastle Elementary School, or here at the high school. That's breakfast and lunch. The girls soccer team hosts Collins High School tonight at home, and that starts at 6. And students and teachers, just remember, we're going to have a special segment this coming Wednesday. It's going to cover all things in-person AB schedule, so make sure that you're ready to be attentive for that broadcast. Also, students, if you don't know if you're on the A or B schedule, make sure you log into Infinite Campus and check that out. If you have any questions about how to finding out whether or not you are on AB schedule by looking at Infinite Campus, make sure you ask one of your teachers, or you can call the front office and they will be able to assist you. That looks like that's all the Wildcat News for today. It's now time with Reppin' with Robbins. Mr. Robbins.
Thank you, Mr. Sagasser. Hope everybody had a great weekend. It was pretty outside. You got out like we talked about on Thursday, did some exercise and hang out with some friends, and did some things that just kind of push maybe schoolwork aside for a minute, or other things that are bothering you to the side for the minute. I've been talking to a lot of students about this here lately, and we'll get into that here in a minute, but mindset is huge during this time. Before I go into that, I'm going to give one big shout out to Lila Webster. So Lila, I saw you working last week. You worked many times in the mornings in your dad's office, and you're doing a great job getting stuff done. So I wanted to give a shout out to you today, Lila. So good job on getting your work done. Going back to mindset, guys, our biggest obstacle right now in these times in life is ourselves. Our mind in certain situations, we have to overcome those thoughts we have in our minds and things going on around us, to be able to control that in our thoughts, to do what's right for us and everybody else around us. A couple of you all have reached out. I know that schoolwork right now is very tough. We're not in person. You're doing a lot of stuff online. You're overwhelmed. You feel like more and more work gets piled on you every single day, but you also have to understand too, our teachers are in a tough spot with that too. We'd rather have you here, which we'll get that opportunity with some of you on October 12th, but right now you've got to find a time to take some breaks, break your day up. I think routines are huge in these situations. Work on your schoolwork, have classes. I know today's 1st, 3rd, and 5th. Go online, live or flash drive during first. Set yourself up a schedule. Get outside second period, take a walk, do some exercise and read a book. Do something that's good for yourself to take a breather, especially on the weekends, guys. I talked to a student on Friday, and that's what my advice I gave them was sometimes it's best just to push things to the side and do other things in order to regain our mind and do what's right for us. Because again, if you can control your mind, you can control your life, and it helps you be a lot more successful. I've got about 5 points right now. I'm going to give you some advice when it comes to that, how to clear up your mind. One, remind yourself that you can't control everything. I think a lot of times we overdo stuff in our life because we feel like we can control everything that's going on around us, but you can't control everything. The best thing to do is work on things and prioritize the things you can control. So clear your mind of that. Know that you cannot control everything that comes your way. So keep that in mind. Number 2 is offer yourself compassion and understanding. And it might be awkward looking in the mirror in the morning, but let yourself know that you're important. Understand what you're going through. Understand there's things going to be going on around you. So make that a point to be understanding and compassionate about yourself, to have some self-confidence with that. Point number 3, free your mind of self-bashing thoughts. I think a lot of times we get in situations where we're hard on ourselves. We're almost too hard on ourselves, especially when it comes to schoolwork or family time or relationships. We've got to do what's right for us at that time. So stop, get away from those self-bashing thoughts. Think a little bit more positive about yourself. Again, going back to being compassionate and understanding. The next one is focus more on what you want out of life. I think a lot of times we get so scatterbrained about what's going on around us all the time. We need to focus more about what we want in life. And that might be to change your friend groups. It might be to change the routine you do have of going out and hanging out with a certain group. Because, guys, a lot of times we let those friend groups control our thoughts. We act differently when we're not around them. So when you're by yourself, and you focus on what you want out of life, make that a priority. Don't feel like you have to do things for others all the time. Do things for yourself. So find that focus in life and what you want to do in life and make that your priority. And then the last one is make an effort to understand others better. I think a lot of times, you know, when we have things that go on around us and we don't know why, we've got to get to a point where we have to be able to understand others better and know where they're coming from too, because you know, we have to have a little bit of empathy and sympathy at the same time for those people. We can't always walk in their shoes. So let's try to work harder and understand people around us a little bit better and working as one to overcome those obstacles. So guys, main thing, clear your mind and learn ways to be able to do that. Our next thing is our push-up challenge. So going back, and I've got to step back a little bit to Thursday, Miss Allie Boyer was challenged. So I think her challenge went out to Dallin Fitzgerald. It looks like Dallin, and I'll have to pull that up here in a minute. If you can come right here, and Dallin follow through with his push-ups. So Dallin, I'm proud of you, man. So Dallin Fitzgerald doing his push-ups on his challenge. So man, rock out. That's awesome that you did that, Dallin. So compliments go to Dallin of doing his, and Dallin wants to challenge Blake Nation. So Blake, you are Dallin's challenge today. Do a little bit of rhyming there, but Dallin challenged Blake Nation. Our next one went out for Major Holland. Major Holland did his push-ups. He challenged Miss Klempner. And I'm going to pull that up so you can see that. Give me a second. So Miss Klempner did her push-ups on Friday, so you can see that. She did an awesome job on that. So Miss Klempner did her push-ups on Friday, and she wants to challenge Zach Neal. So Zach, I think you're in her 4th period class, so Zach gets the challenge that goes out to you. So go back over the challenges. Looks like Dallin challenges Blake Nation, and Miss Klempner has challenged Zach Neal. So before I do mine, I think I want to keep my challenge with Miss Palmer. Miss Palmer, I didn't see any push-ups. That's kind of disappointing. So I'm just going to have to stick right there with you, you know. So Miss Palmer, you're going to be challenged again. You might start going up to 30 or 40. Maybe we do that. No, keep it at 20. So Miss Palmer, challenges to you. So I'm going to do my 20 real quick. So guys, keep in mind, clear that mind, do what's right for you, but also understand others. Back to you, Mr. Sykes.
Thank you, Mr. Robbins. Really appreciate that. Always wonderful insight. Appreciate Mr. Robbins so much. But we also have some challenges. So it looks like Blake Nation, you've been challenged. Zach Neal, you've been challenged. And Miss Palmer, we may be coming to your room tomorrow live so we can get live push-ups. I'm not sure what's going to happen, but Miss Palmer, you've been challenged. Our next segment is Sutley Circle. Mr. Sutley.
Thanks, Sagasser. You know, live push-ups, are they the most difficult of the push-ups? Some would say yes, but I feel like the adrenaline that rushes through your veins, through your body when you're on the floor and someone's watching you, they got a camera on you, that might be what it takes to get the Palmer to start pumping them out. All right, good morning, everyone. Hope you guys had a great weekend. The literary exercise for today is a quote from H. Jackson Brown, and it says, "The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today." So today is all about preparation. This week's all about preparation. And what are we preparing for? Seniors, those of you that are planning to go to college, those of you that are considering going to college, you're preparing to fill out your FAFSA, which is the free application for federal student aid. October 1st is the day the application opens up. So I want to help you to get prepared to fill out that application for federal student aid. So when you get approved for your federal student aid, there's two things that you'll get approved for. You'll get approved for grants or you'll get approved for loans. And I just want you to understand that grants is money that you don't have to pay back typically, and loans is money that you would receive that you will have to pay back. So those are the two types of aid that you can get from the federal government. and when you fill out the application, you'll get that information back. The other thing that I want to remind you of is that you do not have to accept all of the aid that you get. So if you get a bunch of student loans, you don't have to accept that money, and a lot of times people don't understand that. So now I'm going to ask JTB to pull up a graphic for me, and this graphic just kind of gives you an overview quickly of what you can be doing now and what you should be expecting for the coming days on Thursday. So the first thing that you need to do is you need to create an FSA ID, and you'll need to create an FSA ID. One of your parents will need to create an FSA ID because you'll both be using that in most situations when you're completing your FAFSA. So you go to that website right there, studentaid.gov/FSA ID, and you'll click on create an account. You'll do that for yourself, and then your parent needs to do that for themselves or your guardian, whoever's going to be filling out that information for you. So that's the FSA ID. You can do that right now. You can do that before October 1st. Make sure you have that process complete so you're not trying to get through that on October 1. So moving over to the FAFSA side, opens October 1st. I know we've had a lot of conversations with some people that want to start filling out their FAFSA right now. You can't do it ahead of time. It's not there. It will be there on October 1. That's when you have to start your application for your FAFSA. And that website is fafsa.gov, fafsa.gov. Most of you will be using parent or guardian information there, so you'll need to gather that information. I have put on the Google Classroom a graphic that shows you what information you're going to need from your parents or guardians for the FAFSA application. Most of the time it's your tax returns. So take a look at that graphic and that'll answer a lot of questions. Usually the application takes about 30 minutes. It's certainly something that you all can do on your own, but at the same time, we're here to help. I'm happy to sit down and go over the application process and actually go through the application with you and your parent if that's the way you want to do it. So not a problem to do it either way. Just reach out to me and let me know. Finally, and most importantly, when you're completing the FAFSA, you're going to complete the 2021-2022 FAFSA. All right? That's the FAFSA for next year. Every year we have students that complete the FAFSA for this school year, which is 2020-2021, and that's for people that are actually in college right now. So make sure that you're completing the correct FAFSA so that you can get financial aid when you actually go to college next year. So that's all the FAFSA stuff. We'll talk more about it again tomorrow because it's coming on Thursday. I want you to get out there and get your application completed as soon as possible. The whole idea for completing your application as soon as possible is because KIA, which is the Kentucky Higher Education Assistance Authority, matches some of the money that you could get from the FAFSA. So the earlier you apply, the better your chances of getting the full amount that is available to you from KIA. So trying to maximize the dollars that you all get. This is your first step in the financial aid process for college for next year. So if you have any questions, concerns, please reach out to me and we'll take care of you. All right, Sagasser, that's it.
Thank you, Mr. Sutley. Appreciate all of that. Students, make sure you take care of that student aid. That looks like that's all the news we have for today. So for Mr. Robbins, Mr. Sutley, Cam the intern, JTB, I'm Principal Sagasser. Have a fantastic day.